King and the Duke start asking all kind of questions, like if Jim was a runaway slave or not. So Huck has to make up a story, and he says like Jim is his father's slave from like Missouri, and that his father and brother fell off a steamboat and died, and it's a sad story. During the storm, the Duke comes up with this great idea and makes some money. He decides that they're gonna play out Romeo and Juliet and charge people to come for the show. So the Duke comes up with this great plan so they can travel to Jim during the day. So the next day, the Duke, King, and Huck stop in town looking for a printing office, but nobody's there. So Slave tells them everyone's in the town has gone to a town meeting in the woods. They found the printing office, but still no one's there. So the Duke stays at the printing office, and the King and Huck go off to the meeting. At the meeting, they see all these preachers and all these people saying amen. The King gets up and tells his bogus story of being an ex-pirate in the Indian Ocean who found his true path, and he's going to dedicate his life converting other pirates. And everyone's like amen, amen, and cries for him, and he collects $87, which is a good chunk of change back then. Later, they meet up with the Duke, who's made a handbill putting out for the reward for Jim, so now that they can travel during the day because they have an excuse. So the King and the Duke practice up on their Romeo and Juliet until they finally arrive in their town that they're going to perform in Arkansas. The only problem with the town is the streets are made of mud, but nevertheless the Duke puts up some show bills and they get ready for the play. So this drunk guy Boggs comes rumbling in the town looking for Colonel Sherburne. He eventually finds him and they start yelling and arguing, and Colonel Sherburne warns Boggs to leave before something bad happens, but it just keeps getting worse and there's yelling, and so eventually Sherburne just shoots him. Then Boggs dies in front of everyone in the town. A mob gathers around the Colonel's house threatening to lynch him, but the Colonel comes out and preaches about how everyone's a coward, so nothing ever really happens with that. So Huck goes to the circus, and he's amazed by some of the acts there. Later, the King and the Duke perform their play, but only 12 people show up, and they leave early. Not disheartened, the Duke figures that they can't handle Shakespeare and decides to go with a low comedy instead.